Well, howdy fuckers, and welcome to the Boys from Oklahoma recap. It was a wild weekend down in Stillwater. We all survived. We were all front row for one of the coolest concerts of the year, Dead Center. So we thought, what better way to tell you all about it / brag about it than to do an episode for you guys on our weekend, our Boys from Oklahoma weekend. We're joined by the two newest members of the podcast, Sydney. Say hi.
Hey.
And then our new CEO of photography. He is literally the only one with a title. He gave himself the title. And so I just rolled with it. Our CEO of photography, Lane, Mr. Nubs.
Woo!
Hello.
What a weekend.
Oh, wait, hold up. You're listening to the Western Grunge tape deck. Sorry, I had to throw that out there.
Wait, what?
I went, instead of this is the Western Grunge tape deck, I was just like, this is the Boys from Oklahoma recap.
Why am I putting applauses on? Sorry. I was looking for the sound effects that Gage always does, but I can't find them, so it's okay.
Oh, Gage was there in spirit,
Gage
technically.
was there in spirit.
Somehow that photo survived the whole night without me losing it or it getting taken.
Shout out to the photo quality at the Walmart Photo Center.
Hell yeah.
You do a great job, teenage boy that printed the photo.
Dude, you should have seen the look on his face when, like, so I printed, I was like looking at my photo and I was like, I didn't know you could do this, like, from your phone. And so, like, I printed a couple photos of me and Kendall and then the photo of Gage. And so, like, he's, like, looking at, and it's, like, a picture of Kendall and I from Canes. It's a picture of us when we hung out at the Hunt Club. And then, like, he picks those up, and I was like, oh, hey, man, there's one more photo. And it's just a selfie of Gage with a cigar hanging out of his mouth. And the guy just, like, looks at me and gives me the most concerned look, and then he just, like, shoves them in the folder, and he's like, that'll be $1.28.
He couldn't get it to fit in the folder either.
No, it, like, panicked his ass.
He was like, just shoved him in a plastic bag. It was great.
Yeah, I was going to ask what his reaction was, because that was a very interesting picture to just...
Strange selection, yeah.
Well, I was like, so how this all transpired was that Gage had tweeted something about being there in spirit, and I said, don't worry, buddy, I'll bring a picture of you to the pit. And Gracie responded to it and said, I better see that photo in the pit. And so, like, she did. Sydney got her attention right as Ragweed was taking the stage. And, like, she's looking around and, like, she's trying to take it all in. She's trying to have this serious moment. She looks out down the crowd and she sees Sydney. And then she immediately, because Sydney's pointing over to me, sees the photo of Gage and just loses it. But the best part of the whole night was, and I should tell this story later, but we're going to start this off. I'm holding up the photo of Gage, and I just have it kind of like draped over the guardrail. And why I did this, I don't know. And so Cody Canada, who has met Gage multiple times, like Gage and him have talked like probably 4 or 5 times now, looks down during Carney Man directly at us. And he gets ready to start singing like the second verse of Carney Man, and then he has to like back himself up and go, what? And he takes a second look at the photo, and then he goes, I need y'all to slow down, and then goes back into Carney Man. And I was like, did a photo I brought of Gage just cause Cody Canada to lose all focus during Carney Man?
Can I just say, my sources have told me that Cody Canada was concerned that I would have hit my head on the rail when I was headbanging.
Who told you that?
I saw it on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know if it's true.
You should have got a little wooden stick and put Gage's face on it and just...
Told him we needed to make it a fat head. Like, for, you know, like, in high school when, like, you'll have, like, senior night at, like, a football game or something, they make them fucking fat heads. Oh, we should have done that. But I don't know if we could have got that in. And I was not gonna risk anything. Okay, I wasn't risking... I gave Tracer everything I owned, and I fucking sprinted.
Which, speaking of which, Sydney, you have our charger.
I do have your charger.
No.
Annie... Yeah, she has my bag. She has my...
Wait! Sydney, we saw you walking on the street alone.
Yeah, I was going to Lane, and some the truck that was sitting there at the stoplight yelled at me, and he's like, "Who are you waving at?" And I was like, "Obviously not you." Like,
we saw you, and listen, we were pretty well wound at that point, and we were so fucking hungry, and everywhere the lines were so long. The gas station had no hot food. We had to go home and order Domino's.
well, he was like, "Lady, who are you waving at?" And I was like, "Not you." And like they're driving down the strip as I'm walking, and he's hanging out the window, like still talking to me, and I'm just like, okay, like I'm done with this. I was trying to find Lane and our friend Jesse, which is a feat in itself because they were everywhere.
Was she the one with the scooter?
No,
That
that's
was-
Abby.
No. Jesse was the bald guy you ate his pizza.
Yeah,
Jesse could be a androgynous name.
yeah.
You can never know if it's a girl or a boy. Jesse, I did eat his pizza. Abby had the scooter
In the pit.
in the pit, was blocking off our spots with the scooter while people went to get drinks.
Yeah, so when I first got to Stillwater, I got there Friday night at around like 11 p.m. I wasn't able to leave
Yeah.
8. So when I got there, I immediately went and saw Abby. She was at a different bar across town, so I went and saw her for a minute. And then they went home. I texted Lane and Jesse, and I was like, "Where are you guys at?" I called Jesse twice, and he doesn't answer me, but he's in the group chat texting, and I was like, "What the fuck,
This
man?"
motherfucker.
Yeah, so I leave him a voicemail, and I was like, "I'm kicking your ass when I find you." So I finally find parking. Well, actually, the first person I see driving down the strip, I see Frosty walking down the sidewalk.
He's so spottable. Like I probably saw him 3 times just walking down the strip, and I'd be like, from a mile away, you can just see the luscious locks.
Yeah, so I like wave at him, and I'm trying to find parking, and he goes, "I need a cigarette." So I keep driving around the block, and I end up finding parking and getting to the Salty Bronc, and that's exactly like I run into you guys immediately. I
Yeah.
hadn't found Lane and Jesse yet. So everyone ended up at the Salty Bronc. We saw the Pace Road Band, I think is what their name was.
I
Yeah.
have no idea. I was very well wound, and
Yeah, it's Space Road Band.
the beginning of the night was kind of strange for us as well. Because we get there, we're at Joe's, and we're looking like, where the fuck is everybody? So we're walking like near the restaurant. This drunk people, everybody wants a goddamn picture. Tracer's taking everyone.
Put me in charge of this.
They didn't ask me. No, not the woman. They asked this guy to take their picture. All these fucking groups are taking pictures, yada yada. Well, one of the drunk ladies turns to me and goes, "Do you have a lighter? You look like you'd have a lighter." I said, "No," but what is that supposed to mean? Do I just give degenerate? Like, what was I given that made you think that I had a lighter? And that moment, to the point where you said you looked like you had a lighter. So that was our first couple of minutes until we finally found where we were looking for and walk in, and the Smoking Oaks are playing Please Accept Me immediately as we walk in. So I'm like, okay, this is heaven, basically.
Yeah, I didn't catch any of the other bands. Pace Road Band was the first one I caught in Stillwater this weekend. But, then we finally found Jesse, and he comes into the Salty Bronc with his pizza, looks directly at me, makes eye contact with me, and turns and walks the other direction. And then he texts us and was like, "Are y'all still here?" And I was like, "You just literally looked me dead in the eyes." But then we all ate pizza together, and
He opened that ranch just so I could dip it in the ranch. As a ranch lover, I appreciated it. But that was after we were at Fast Molly.
Yeah.
And when we were at Fast Molly, Lane appears out of nowhere.
Yes.
And starts throwing money onto the stage.
We're front center Fast Molly. They're killing it. It was our first time seeing them live.
So good.
I was like, these guys are phenomenal. I just come back from the bar. I'm drinking a ranch water. And somebody put their hand on me. And
Last time we were at the Wormy Dog and someone put their hand on you. It wasn't a good time.
we won't get into that. All right? We won't get into that. Somebody put their hand on me. So I turn around, and all I see is just this motherfucker just headbanging to nowhere. And I'm like, fucking nubs! And so we invite him up into the group, and then he just starts taking dollar bills and just throwing them on stage. And I was like, what are you doing, buddy? And he's like, I'm really drunk. And he's throwing dollar bills on the fucking stage. I was like, hell yeah, brother.
It
So
did start the chain reaction of people throwing money on.
They made
And I was just helping the homies out.
they made $13.
There is nobody that just spawns out of nowhere like Frosty and Nubs.
Yeah, same thing happened at Born and Raised. Me and Tracer are walking to the backstage area at Born and Raised, and here he comes with a beatbox and a beer and a camera.
The photo I sent in the group chat today, he's got a beer under one arm, his camera in his hand, and a beatbox hanging off the damn nub with an afro on. And the first words out of his mouth to me are just, what's going on, buddy? And I was like, dude, Lane, you gotta know this. You are my literal favorite person.
I love this guy.
There is nobody, like, it's Lane and then everybody else down here.
I'm under Lane.
Baby, you've never spawned in randomly in my life with a beatbox hanging off your nub, so.
I think that was about 10 minutes before I walked back to the camper and passed out for the night.
He missed the rest of the night because we were looking for you.
I remember, like, finally being like, dude, I need to get to bed. Like, we got a busy day tomorrow. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Lane won't text me back. So I just, like, open up the camper door and just walk into this random camper. And I was like, that kind of looks like Lane. So I shake him awake, and he's like, oh, dude, you made it. And I was like, you've seen me multiple times tonight. And he, like, starts blowing up our air mattress. Had a hole in it. Whole other story. We're not going to get into
that. Our air
that.
mattress freaking deflated every night. We would wake up on the floor every single night. And
I said I had a different one.
On the floor again.
And you know what?
On the floor again.
I was so wasted every night that I didn't notice any difference.
No.
The only night I Born and Raised was that one night when I drank the whiskey. I have not drank whiskey since. I have not been drunk since then. That's been September. That traumatized me. It was a really bad night. I was gonna say I lost it.
Let's circle back to Boys from Oklahoma now that we've discussed the night prior, which we were all there for Friday night. It was stop fighting. It was a good night.
I just want to premise this with, I was woken up at 8:30 in the morning and Kendall telling me we have to go get in line because they're already lining up.
Yeah, Facebook. So I was laying in my car. I slept in my car. Made a nice little bed in the back. It was very comfortable. I get on Facebook. I'm scrolling because I'm like, I've got to get up early and get around because I've planned on going to see Annie and Brandon for a minute before heading over to the stadium. Well, I get on Facebook and the first thing I see is some guy standing in line already, and I immediately text Kendall and I was like, there's people in line. So
I freaked. And if you know anything about me and my concert camping years, I have done, my longest concert camp was 28 hours for Lana Del Rey overnight at the Walmart Amp in Rogers, Arkansas. Hell of a time. It was worth it. But I can't stand the idea that people are going to start lining up. It drives me nuts. I just will think about it all day. So I was like, we just got to go. We got to go. We get there, it's one guy.
We did have a great time with Sean, so.
Yeah, Sean was a hell of a guy. He was there for, big turnpike guy. It was fun. We pretty much just sat there and talked and bullshitted.
Honestly.
Time did not, it didn't feel like it was that
Everybody kind of gave us a hard time about it, but honestly, it was really enjoyable. I sat there and did nothing all day, which I really needed mentally.
Yeah.
A day of just fucking doing nothing.
Because we had a crazy week.
We've had a crazy fucking 3 months trying to move.
We've had a crazy year.
But anyways, so we'll just kind of fast forward through that time. Went and got some merch, did some things. And then
Emily provided us with biscuits and gravy.
Oh my god, she brought us like these biscuits. I didn't have any of the gravy. I just made like sausage biscuits. They were fucking phenomenal.
And face gems for me.
And face gems for Kendall. And then I called Nubs and I said, buddy, I need you to show up here with some beer as soon as fucking possible. He finally rolled in like an hour and a half later with some lukewarm Coors Light. and one Miller Lite. Don't know where the Miller Lite came from.
I
but it was
drank
like
the Miller Lite.
It was like 4 Coors Light pounders that were lukewarm,
and then a small
and
Miller
then a
Lite.
small Miller Lite that somehow was ice fucking cold. I don't.
Well, it's because the Miller Lite was at the bottom of the ice chest.
Yeah,
And all
okay.
the ice melted, and the Coors Light was on top, and I just loaded my little ice bag, the only bag I had in the car up.
Well,
So
originally I was talking to Lane and Jesse the night before, and I said, y'all are gonna have to go before me. Y'all are gonna have to go get in line because I knew it was gonna take me forever to get ready. But as soon as I got up, I went and showered and started getting ready. I was at the
Fitness.
yeah, I did shower at the Planet Fitness. Hey, whatever works. That's what I pay for a membership for. I have not been to the gym.
Black card.
The shower.
Wait, no, you can do that. You got a black card? No, I need one.
Well, I got back to camp and started getting ready at the camper. It's the same people that I stayed with last year at Boys from Oklahoma. I'm putting my makeup on. They're like, you need to get in here and eat because we know you're
beer
the day. And they were correct. I did not. So
eat for over 12 hours.
if I would have even thought about it, I would have brought you guys food because I knew that you guys had been there since 8 a.m. But I just didn't even think about it. But
I'm so used to doing stuff like that from when I was when I had dropped out of college and had no friends. I had nothing else to do. So I would go all the time in camp concerts. I mean, if anybody remembers, I camped a Wyatt Flores show outside the basement for like 14 hours in the freezing cold. So I'm used to it. I'm very used to it, and I enjoy doing it, especially when you're there with people. It makes the time go a lot faster. But
yeah,
you gotta have some etiquette, some camping and concert etiquette.
Yeah, I was only in line for 2 hours, but I will say it did fly by. So
yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, we did have a great time in line. Just talking to everybody. Shout out to Nubs for the beer.
shout out Nubs for the beer.
I pounded 2 tall boy White Claws.
Yeah.
Before we went in.
Half of a Miller Lite.
And then they opened the doors, and I'm ready. And the guy who was in front of me, Sean, he had gone up to the person to see who was doing the wristbands. He was like, last year I got stuck behind this fucking old dude doing wristbands. He goes, we got a young guy. He said, I told him to be ready. So we get in before the other side even starts going in. Thank God. They banned me. I had given all my shit to Tracer. I fucking booked it. I'm an asthmatic. So by the time Tracer's there, I'm doing the splits on the barricade to try and save everybody's spots. I'm like,
well, I was scared that I was going to get. I mean, my purse was literally full of everything that anybody could have needed. I had sunscreen, I had rain ponchos, I had everything in that bag, and it was like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
I was so scared that they were going to stop me at the gate and like look through everything.
Me too. That's why I did the splits.
Well, I took off running after you, and I got in trouble for running in the stadium. They're like, whoa.
Well, they do
So
yell
did
at
I.
you for running. And they will yell at you for running. You just gotta ignore it. It's the same as like in high school when you're walking down the hallway and one of the teachers like, your tits are out, go put on a hoodie. It's like you just keep walking and pretend like you don't hear it.
It all worked out in the end. We were
It did. And I've trained for this. I've done my fair share, and that was one of the easiest. I'll say the worst, Hangout Fest at the beach in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Running in sand half a mile to main stage, I lost my shoe. And I never went back for it.
Fuck that shoe.
for a long day.
That was horrible. But it was so worth it.
Alright, so we're inside the venue now. I did not run. Kendall ran for us. And I come walking down the stairs. And I have a can of beer and a high noon. And I walk through down to the pit. The guy goes, can I see your wristband? I said, yeah, here it is. He said, good, you can go. I said, okay. I walked past the security guard. I said, how's it going? He said, it's going to be a good night. I said, you're damn right. And I walk all the way to the pit, and I get up front stage where we're sitting at. I give Kendall her drink, have my drink, and then I start noticing everybody has cups around us. And I was like, "Oh, this is bad." And everybody's like, "No one stopped you?" And I was like, "No, no one stopped me. Like literally, no one stopped me."
You walked with confidence.
I did, and if you look dumb enough and you walk with enough confidence, you get anywhere.
Here's what I've learned through my years of concerts. If you talk to the staff like they're genuine human beings, you won't have a problem.
Yep, and that's exactly somebody pointed it out to security guard Mike, and they're like, "He has a can," and Mike's like, "I don't care as long as he doesn't throw it on stage."
Shout out to security guard Mike. We had the conversation. I was like, "Yeah, it's not a Gavin Adcock concert," and Mike was like, "Yeah, I fucking hate that guy."
Stripper Mike.
Stripper Mike. Dancer.
Yeah, Mike.
Dancer of the night, Mike.
Mike gave me water when I was about to pass out, so shut up.
Was that what happened with that lane?
Yeah.
All I know is Ragweed's on stage, and then Mike's like handing you water, and he's like, "You're good," and I like look over.
I think it was during the Turnpike, but
I was like, I look over at Lane, I'm like, "Are you?" I mouth like the words to Lane, "Are you good?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, buddy."
Well,
Lane talk for yes.
Us in line, and it took her like 45 minutes to get down to the pit. So backstory for everybody listening. My friend Abby got into a car accident a couple of weeks before the show. Broke her leg and is on a knee scooter. She okayed it with several people that's with OSU that she would be able to be in the pit with her knee scooter. Well, then nobody knew like where she needed to go to get to the pit, so it took her like 45 minutes to get down into the pit with her scooter, but she made it, and I think she's a trooper for that. I mean, front barricade with a knee scooter is a heck of a feat.
Barricade with a broken bone is great.
And being in charge of the cup tower.
Yes.
I was very thankful for her knee scooter because it allowed me to put my purse on it that was 30 pounds. Yeah, Abby, if you're listening, I love you. You're a rock star for that.
So, we'll start off with the first band that played the bill, The Great Divide. For me, that was my first time getting to see The Great Divide. Mike McClure's a genius. That whole band is fucking tight. And in the words of Joe Fink, "You've been doing it almost 30 years together. You should damn well be tight." So, it was great to see a band like that that's been around for so long get their flowers, get to play that stage. And they played some great songs. They played College Days, which I did not dream they would play. But that was great to hear, College Days.
Well, they had the College Days merch.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
The Great Divide was excellent. I did have to call my Nana mid-set. My Nana's in love with Mike McClure. And the backstory here, because my Nana knows not very much about Red Dirt, but she knows what I tell her. We went and saw Wyatt Flores at the Ryman in 2024, and The Great Divide opened for him, and Mike McClure winked at her, and she has not let me forget it ever since. She brings it up all the time. So I had to let her know. I said, "Your crush is on stage." She said, "Mike McClure?" Yep.
I know that I've seen them before. I just can't remember where it was at.
They were at
last year.
Born and raised, right?
Well, Mike McClure
And Born and Raised.
played Born and
Yeah,
Raised.
not The Great Divide, but Mike McClure played Born and Raised.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. The one thing that I mean, no shade to a certain other band, but when Mike goes on his solo stuff and he shows up with the Mike McClure band,
Foam.
there is no Great Divide covers. Mike shows up and he plays his own stuff. He has his own stuff that's separate from the Great Divide. I mean, he could show up every night with the Mike McClure band and do amazing covers of College Days, Yesterday Road. I'm blanking on any other songs. I'm sorry. But Mike doesn't. He shows up and he plays Mike McClure band songs and he goes about his day.
I still wish I would have bought the Stadium Tour T-shirt for Mike McClure Band from last year. So funny, and I should have bought it.
You know, there's so many things I look back on and I'm like, I wish I would have fucking bought that. That's why I have such problems at the merch booth now.
I cannot go to a concert and not go to the merch booth, and it's really bad.
Well, my recent buys, I've been getting bandanas from every show we've been to, pretty much, because I want to make either a quilt of sorts out of bandanas or a shirt.
I just buy t-shirts and koozies at every single show. It does not matter if I've seen them before.
You must buy a koozie at every show. It's the rules.
And then I've kind of started getting into concert posters. I have a Southall one, the Drop Times from the Mercury, and then I have a Zach Top one.
Well, you know, we're suckers for posters, but I can't give up I love getting bandanas.
I've gotten better about this recently. Is that I've been buying CDs instead of vinyl.
Cheaper. We've been saving money since we're homeowners.
Cheaper.
I keep buying vinyl, and I still don't even have a record player. I have like a hell of a collection, and I don't.
I'm gonna start a GoFundMe just to buy Sydney a record player.
There's multiple people we need to buy a record player.
Yeah, I need one.
Lane.
Well, mine broke and quit working. It's just like one I bought at Walmart.
Well, do you guys remember when my room got flooded? Were you guys around for that?
No, I don't think so.
This would have been what?
I didn't hear about it.
Or early May?
This
would have been early May of last year. My ceiling collapsed on me after an Evan Honer concert. So I'm drunker than hell in my bed. It's like 5 a.m. My ceiling falls on me while I'm asleep, and all this water just drenches me. It drenches like half my records, my vinyl player, like everything. My record player's done for. It was the craziest thing. I think I dedicated 10 Twitter spaces to this incident.
And that's why she fell in love with me, is because I have a badass setup.
Yeah, I needed a record player, so.
It's a joke. It was obviously my gorgeous hair.
But the Great Divide were great. Obviously, it's in the name. They're gonna be great.
I never made it to the merch booth. I made it to the pop-up one, but that's
I didn't get to any. I got around and I left Brennan and Annie's, and I immediately got in line and did not leave. Like, I did not go to any. I didn't make it to any of the merch stands. I've seen people wearing the merch, and I'm like, that. It looks so cool, and I missed it. I didn't get anything.
I wanted the Broken Bow Turnpike merch so bad.
Me too.
We just could not. We woke up Sunday morning. We both looked at each other and we're like, we want to be home.
We're not doing Gypsy Cafe.
I was going to get up and get around and go see some of the bands that were playing on Sunday, and I was exhausted. My legs were so, like, just sore.
I don't even want to talk about my feet.
Yeah, I wanted to try to make it to the Broken Bow, and like they had a big sale on Sunday where they were selling T-shirts and everything for like
$5.
And I was like, and I was like, if you're still in Stillwater, please go buy me some, like, whatever. I will cash app you right now.
They should have told me when I was there, because it was $15. That's what I went and got.
Oklahoma at this point, so I'm like, okay, well, there's that.
Well, you know, after the Great Divide comes on, we have Shane Smith coming out with a fucking killer set.
Yeah, they were very impressive.
He just has such great vocals, to the fact that it's stunning to hear in person. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then all the other whatever, I can't even think of the word now.
I mean, Shane Smith came out there and did. I mean, that was my third time seeing Shane Smith and the Saints, and sounds bad, but I'll never be as impressed as the first time I saw him, because I saw him at Kane's Ballroom, and I was like, holy shit, this whole place is vibrating, and so I'm like front row, and I'm like, yeah, Kane's is still better. But anyways, it was a great set from Shane Smith.
Yeah.
Too short of a set. I don't like seeing Shane Smith in a 45-minute set. I need to see him in an hour-long set.
Admittedly, I haven't listened to them as much as I should have. Uh, I know Mountain Girl. I know, a couple of their songs, Adeline. But I don't listen to them a whole lot. I think that they did play Born and Raised a couple of years ago, and I heard them from the big stage. We were at the mid-sized stage lane, I think. But,
Yeah.
I heard them, and, you can watch them on the screen, Born and Raised. Haven't gotten into them, but they were extremely impressive. So that's the first time that I've really got to sit there and listen to them, and they were great. They put on a great set.
I saw him at Calf Fry a couple years ago, and I like Shane Smith and the Saints, and I've listened to him not as much as other bands, but I didn't realize the harmonies. I really like the
Yeah.
harmonies.
The whole band can sing, which is crazy.
Well, their fiddle player Dustin has his own side projects. Side projects that he does. I wish I could remember. Dustin Schaefer, I think is his last name. He has side projects that he does, and he's phenomenal.
And I will say I'm not that big of a Shane Smith fan. I mean, I like a lot of his songs, but I don't actively go listen to him all the time. But I was thoroughly impressed with that set. I thought it was a really good set.
I just think he has such a unique voice.
Yeah.
Even when he came out and sang "Long Hot Summer Day" with Turnpike,
That was great.
it was incredible. I would, his voice is just so much different than what we're used to when we're listening to that song. And he was incredible. So I definitely need to do a deep dive on Shane Smith.
Well, one thing that I do really like about Red Dirt is I feel like there's a lot of unique voices within Red Dirt, because you think of Lance Rourke, Wyatt Flores, all of these guys have very unique vocals and different afflictions within their vocals, and I think that's what makes it so interesting is especially when they come out and cover other songs, you can hear that they're not trying to imitate, they're not trying to be this certain singer or band or whatever, that they're using their own style but taking influence at the same time, and that's what I really like about that.
Absolutely, yeah. I every time he came out there with after his set and sang with everybody else, it was just. What did he sing with Ragweed? Was it Constantly?
17.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that Wyatt would do 17.
I did, and then he asked Shane to come out with him, but then that was the second time we've seen Wyatt cover Alabama, because he covered it at King's Ballroom New Year's Eve.
Yeah, yep.
And Wyatt does a very good cover of Alabama.
We will get to that. Kendall, it's about time for another beer for me, so I'm going to turn you loose to talk about the next artist that came on stage.
Oh, God. Well,
Yes,
that's
the
never
stage is
good.
all me.
Well, I obviously, oh, jeez. I'd been waiting all night for this one set. Because I haven't seen this guy since December. But that's a long time for me. I mean, I think this was my 9th or 10th time seeing him, which he's the artist I've seen the most. So, Mr. Wyatt Flores, he put on a hell of a set. I think that's the best I've ever seen him.
Yeah, I would agree. I saw him for the first time at Born and Raised back in 2022, and that's actually how I met all of my friends from Nebraska that were with us down in the pit. So Abby on the knee scooter, and then Jesse. I didn't meet Jesse till the next year, but I was at Born and Raised by myself because I think it was Wyatt, the Damn Quells, Cat Hasty, 49 Winchester on the opening night, and I was like, I cannot miss that. I know, and I was, my friends weren't coming down to the next day, and I was like, I can't miss that. I've got to go. So I was there by myself, and this girl walked up to me and was like, are you here for yourself? And I was like, yeah, and she's like, not anymore. And that is how that friendship was born. And then everything is just, we kind of just started camping together, Born and Raised. Nubs kind of absorbed himself into the group, and now we're just this giant campsite at Born and Raised. But that's how that friendship was born, was at a Wyatt Flores concert, and I agree that was the best set that I've seen from him.
shit. And I think about his climb upwards in the past few years, and like when I first started listening to him was 2023. He was the first country artist I had listened to in probably 10 years. Being from Nashville, I was really burnt out on country. There was the occasional country band I'd be okay with, but I never really connected with anyone until I heard Wyatt Flores before he even had, anything really out except for the Hudson sessions. And I started listening to him, and I was like, man, I really hope I can catch this guy in concert. Well, 2024 rolls around, and I'm camped out at Hangout Fest, and Wyatt's performing on a small stage, and I'm watching him from across the way, because I couldn't leave the fucking barricade when I was barricade for Zach Bryan at the time. Now I would definitely barricade for Wyatt, but at the time I was still getting into everything, and I saw him put on a great set there, and ever since then I've just been following him around, and I've seen him in clubs with 50 people, and I've seen him at festivals with 40,000 people, and he does a great job regardless. And I think it's, especially if you've seen him, in his earlier years within his career, how much he's progressed as a performer on stage, how much more engaging he is with his audience. I mean, it's a hell of a difference, especially if you saw him, before his break into after his break when he came back, and just seeing the way that he came back better than he's ever been. He was happy to be on stage. His band had chemistry. And ever since then, they've been on a fucking rampage. And I think the, epicenter of that was this Boys from Oklahoma. He's coming off all this success. And then playing again in his hometown with the bands he looks up to after the fucking crazy year he's had. I mean, no wonder, I was emotional too.
Yeah.
Johnny,
go ahead.
Johnny Coltrane got me thinking about it, and he said, he sent a message, and he said, we sure have seen Wyatt come a long way since the Vanguard. And I thought back immediately to August of 2023. There was no podcast yet. Western Grunge was not. I still had the Twitter name.
I started college.
It wasn't even off the ground yet.
I was in college. That's how you know it was a long time ago.
I didn't even have 1,000 followers yet, and went and saw Wyatt, and just had to take a moment and be like, damn, we've come a long way since seeing you with a sold out crowd of 250 people at the Vanguard to now. I mean, look, you're playing to a sold out stadium of 40,000 people.
And you know what? I've always wanted to be one of the people who's like, yeah, I was there before they blew up. And I've been so dedicated and supportive of Wyatt Flores since day fucking one. So to see all of this, especially for me, is fucking nuts. I mean, it's crazy. I was going from seeing him at small shows and being like, no one here knows I'm Broken Siggy's on Twitter, lol, and posting about him all the time, and everybody being like, who the fuck is Wyatt Flores? To now, I have friends that haven't contacted me in not even friends, I have people that haven't contacted me in 5-6 years texting me, being like, I saw you on Wyatt Flores' Instagram, yada yada yada, and I'm like, what the fuck has happened? What the fuck? It happened too quick.
We'll get to that, but let everybody else finish up their stories about the Wyatt set.
Too fucking quick.
And then we'll let you talk about the license plate.
So I told you that I re-listened to the Ragweed recap from last year, and one of the things that you guys were talking about was, if we were even getting a year two. We all kind of assumed that it would happen, but everyone was talking about if we were even going to see it happen a second time. The second thing that you guys were talking about was how cool it would be if, sorry about that, if you can hear that, was Wyatt Flores playing a set at Boys from Oklahoma. And we get to see that this year. So I just thought that was really cool to listen back to. and then just see it unfold this weekend. But I also just love seeing him and his band interact with each other. I think they have such great chemistry that they're just really, really fun to watch. You can just see that they're all up there like joking around with each other, and it's just a lot of fun to see them.
So the first time I saw Wyatt was Calf Ride. I don't know when. It's been like before I was even 21. So, and he was like one of the opening sets. First time I ever heard of him, and then to see him at that, I really liked it, and I think that was probably my best favorite set of the weekend was Wyatt's set.
It was mine too.
Just the energy and they sounded great, and you could feel the vibrations the whole time.
Yeah.
And then I got to even meet him Sunday evening and talk to him.
Lane! Why didn't
Saw him
you
outside.
call me?
I saw him outside the Wormy Dog.
Lane called me after he left meeting Wyatt and told me about it.
So I talked to him, and he was like, "Did I happen to see you in the front of the pit yesterday?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Y'all were rocking out." He was like, there was definitely people that knew my songs, but there's people that didn't, and y'all were out there rocking."
Hey, we were having a great time.
Always the goal is I love to, especially when I go to shows where there's a big opener or a big like headliner. I like to make the openers like know that like we fuck with your shit too. Like we love you. I had such a good fucking time at that set, and I don't know, seeing how his band interacts and also seeing them interact at with 100 people at the Wormy Dog or whatever. 250 people at the Wormy Dog to 40,000 people. It's like you guys are still fucking out here vibing like that. That's fucking nuts. That was probably my favorite set of the weekend. I had a great fucking time. I cried. I laughed. I felt joy.
Yeah, it was a really good time. But I also want to jump in and talk about the Wormy Dog resurgence, because that's also something that I wasn't in that recap, but that's another thing that was mentioned in the recap from last year was, just talking about the Wormy Dog and like just wondering if it would ever come back. And, within the past year, we did get to see the comeback of the Wormy Dog. And that's one thing that I was so excited to, that was the one place I had to go. I was like, I have to go to the Wormy Dog.
Yeah.
And I just wish so bad I would have been able to see the original Wormy Dog. I just know I would have loved that place, but it was really cool to see it reinvented for our generation to get to experience too.
And that is so, I don't know, it's so reflective of how Red Dirt has evolved over the years and come back from what we call the Red Dirt dead period, to now where it's like we have this huge resurgence with the young guys. We have, Wyatt Flores and Lance Rourke and all these other young guys out here.
Hold up.
Well,
I don't know what just happened, but yeah, I didn't get to watch Fast Molly's set this year at the Wormy Dog, but I did get to run into them after the show. Like I said, I got to town a little bit late, so I got to talk to them at the merch booth a little bit. Bought some Wormy Dog merch.
Yeah, Fast Molly's fucking great. I was really excited for them.
Alright, everybody.
I only caught them for one song because I was hopping for. I went and watched Waves of April,
You scared the...
Fast Molly, then Pace Road Band. So
This is my father. He decided to just drop in, say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
My wife disappeared, so
She's talking to cats. We're doing a recap on the Ragweed weekend.
I thought the cops were...
I was
well, we were. We're the cops. We're all under arrest.
I was like, what did we do wrong?
I was like, there's no way they can hear me yelling from here.
We were over at the casino, so we decided to stop in.
Do any good?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What'd you win?
All of this.
Can we borrow
That
some?
looks like ones. Oh, I see the hundreds now.
Can we borrow some?
No.
Oh.
So I only got a couple hundred, but
Only a couple hundred. Right, right.
I only spent 100, and I got about 4 to go home with.
You made more than I make in a week.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it should be, right? And who's these folks?
This is so over here on the right hand side of the screen. That is Nubs.
Hi, Nubs.
He is the
Hello.
photography. And then this is our friend Sydney.
Hi, Sydney.
Hello.
I have to get down low like
Yep.
this. There you go.
Everybody, this is my father, Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Hello. It's good to meet you all.
Nice to
I
meet
didn't
you.
know this was going on, or we wouldn't have stopped by.
You're good. We just been recapping the whole weekend.
They were with us at Boys from Oklahoma.
Oh, when you got the tag?
That's literally what we were getting ready to talk about.
That's what we were getting ready to talk about. You know, I've had multiple people come up to me in the town and ask me about that.
Yeah.
I'm becoming a Coffeeville celebrity.
We got stopped at the gas station this morning, and this guy that I didn't recognize at first, I had to go look him up on Facebook to make sure I knew who he was like, dude, I sent you the video of her getting the tag. And I was like, how the hell do you know us? And I had to remember I knew him from high school.
And then Walmart.
Then Walmart today.
Tracer's old manager.
My old manager, shout out Edna.
Yeah.
She was like, that video of you was so cute. I saw it. So.
I don't know what's going on.
I didn't mean to.
You're okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Don't let me interrupt anything. Go ahead and do what you're doing.
Sydney froze.
Oh, I'm
So-
frozen.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead and talk.
Well, I just said that Kendall's a small town celebrity.
I am.
What's that
I
song?
am.
Everybody dies famous in a small town.
It's gotta happen in every town I live in. I have to become a local celebrity. It's just kind of the way I live my life. Shout out Mount Juliet, Tennessee. I hate everyone that lives in that town except for like a select few, but
Well, now you done said everybody, so they're just done.
well, that anywho, getting that license plate, I cried. I did cry. I was so excited, and everyone was telling me, you're gonna get it, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then I did.
I remember him mouth, "Yeah, you get it." Like,
Yeah.
I saw that.
He was talking to me, and I was like, what the hell did he just say to me? And I was like, and here comes Braden out of nowhere, sprinting, gives me the plate. I'm like, what's happening? And then, of course, you know, I'm laying in bed the next day. I'm a wee bit hungover, and I look at my phone. I have so many notifications, and everybody was tagging me in the video, and I was like, what the fuck? And so I get a text from Emily, and she's like, yeah, Braden told me they were making a video for you, but I didn't want to ruin the surprise. And I was like,
yeah, it was really neat. I've enjoyed scrolling through social media this week, just looking for everybody in the pit. But it was really cool to see that video of you getting the plate.
it was very full circle.
Yeah.
I like that one, and then I like the Turnpike one. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah. And then of course, you know, Wyatt, you know, getting his award
Yeah.
was really special to see too.
Yeah, and you know what? I was crying right there with him.
I was too. I had ran off at that point because I had to run to the bathroom before Turnpike and Ragweed. And then that is also when I decided that I was not drinking any more beer or anything else because I was like, I'm not fighting through this crowd again. It wasn't.
Oh, it was horrible.
I just remember, you know, being at the back of the pit and seeing Cody Canada come out on stage with the award, and then, you know, it was really awesome to see that happen.
Yeah, very full
And-
circle. Very full circle.
Wyatt's face when he realized the award was for him. Because they handed it to Cody at first, and then you could tell when Wyatt realized it was for him.
I just, it was so full circle, and I've talked about this in another podcast, but I think Wyatt Flores has cried at more shows that I've seen him at than he hasn't. And you know what? I love that, because, you know, as a man in society, it's hard to be able to be comfortable with your emotions, and seeing Wyatt be so vulnerable and open with his emotions, like in his songwriting and in his performances and everything, it's like, you gotta respect it because it takes, it takes some guts to do that. And people will judge you, but the real ones get it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that we've as a society have made it hard for men to be able to open up and be vulnerable like that. So I agree. I think that I have seen him cry at multiple shows, but
and I like think, and I'm like, what show has he not cried at? And I'm like, you know what? Me too. And it's like, that's why I love him. He's so honest and raw and like vulnerable with his emotions and the way he feels that it's like,
yeah, no shame in it. No shame in it.
I love it. It was a fabulous set. His new songs sound great live.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Drive All Night because that sounded very good live.
It did.
Yeah, I really liked it.
I did too. Me and Tracer been singing it like all fucking week. Drive all night. I can't get it out of my head. It's stuck.
I've been seeing all of the videos from TikTok, and I've seen lots of videos of the Drive All Night. So, also the set that he had the truck. It was all really neat. But just seeing Kinsey on the fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
And she always does a great job on the fiddle, so it was, I can't say enough how good of a show it was. It was Wyatt at his best, which is singing to his hometown, doing the shit, being comfortable on stage and having fun.
I will say they all came out in those matching jackets.
Love them.
Oh yeah, they were really cute, but all I've been thinking about all week is how hot that had to have been.
That's why they took them off.
We saw them take them off, so.
I think the only one who had them on for a long time was Wyatt and Kinsey.
I don't know if Wyatt ever took his off.
I don't think he did.
But, I mean, being in the pit, I expected it to rain. I expected it to rain.
Me too.
The weather ended up being perfect, but I started to get hot. Like, I think I got a sunburn on my scalp. Yeah, I could not imagine having to wear those jackets on stage. I'm sure that it's hotter up there, especially
definitely with the lights. Yes. Yeah. But everybody was texting me. They're like, "I almost saw your boobs in that video." I'm like, "Boy, I was wearing a sports bra. You're good."
I did sign my first pair of tits.
Holy tan. She did sign my boobs. And I can't explain anything I did at that time. I was very excited for Wyatt Flores. And
what happens in it's fine.
What happens in the pit stays in the pit. But
Wyatt mentioned the resurgence, and I've noticed it like that whole weekend. Any bar you stopped in, there was live music.
Oh yeah, it was like
even like in Stillwater during the week, like Wednesday nights there's songwriter stuff, Monday nights and Thursday nights. So
Emily played the Wormy Dogs songwriter night.
So I've just seen it more and more now. Like since I've been going to Stillwater, just there's more live music to find up there.
But as someone who's from Nashville, you go downtown on Broadway, it's music everywhere. It's not necessarily good, but there is music everywhere. And there are some gems, hidden in, especially at Roberts. There's some real good bands that play at Roberts or Chiefs. But we were walking down the strip in Stillwater, and I was like, this is like Broadway. This is like small-scale Broadway. Like, there's music everywhere. Like, you can go into any bar and see a live band.
Like, I found some at the Curdy Shack. There's some kids out there hanging out because they don't have anywhere else to go. They're just playing at the Curdy Shack.
Was prom weekend as well in Stillwater? Because everywhere we walked, there was bitches in, long, glittery dresses and guys in tuxes, and I was like, yeah, y'all just went to prom, didn't ya? I mean, good luck using your fake ID when you've got that gown on and that tux. Like, we know you were at prom and not boys from Oklahoma.
Yeah. I don't think... I did see a couple I didn't see anybody in like long dresses. I saw some shorter ones and some of the guys in tuxes, but
I saw some sparkly dresses.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I mean. I mean, like, sparkly and glittery. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like, you know what? I'm so jealous you get to grow up in Stillwater, Oklahoma, instead of being like, let's go downtown after prom to Nashville, Tennessee. We went to the fuck-ass... They have this mural of... You know the wings in Nashville that they have painted? We went to that after prom in a limo.
Hey, I grew up in a town of 1,300 people. We didn't have shit to go to afterwards. We
I
went
will
to a
tell you,
fire.
as prom is
Bonfire.
approaching, it makes me devastated because I was not allowed to go to my senior prom because I was dating a fuck-ass man. So every time I see people posting about prom, I'm like...
I went to prom with my best friend twice.
Well, hell yeah. And you
It's
know
very
me, I love to stunt on them hoes. I love to do too much. That's always been me. I love to do too much. But, yeah, there was definitely a prom going on in Stillwater. Which, what great timing as the Boys from Oklahoma weekend to have your prom. Walking down the strip, hell yeah. I wish I would have grown up with that shit. But, moving back into what we need to talk about... The Turnpike set was up next. Tracer can talk about that while I pee.
Oh man, what a great set from Evan Felker and the boys. Came out strong with the Bird Hunters, did what they needed to do. Held out on us a little too long. I was really worried for a long time we weren't going to get Heaven Passing Through. And then we finally did get Heaven Passing Through. What a beautiful song.
It is a gorgeous song. One of my favorite Turnpike songs.
It has officially taken the number one spot for me. It's over 7-7 now, and I didn't think you were ever going to get a song that beat out 7-7. It was a great set. I mean, I've never seen a bad Turnpike set.
I haven't either.
I can say that fully. And then to get brought the set list, I was so excited. I've headcanoned myself into believing that Evan Felker saw me out there and sent me his set list. Just because Evan reached down and he ripped his set list off the ground, and their manager came running out and he handed it to Kendall. And I was just like, I know that's Evan Felker's set, and I know that he saw us up front.
His schizophrenia is showing.
He saw us up front, and he sent it to us. He said, "Go give it to them. They're big fans."
You are schizophrenic.
No, it's because I think this is crazy. This is me being schizophrenic, as Kendall said. But the first video that I remember Turnpike ever interacting with me at all was from Waco. And it was the video of Kendall and I dancing to 7-7 up there in the nosebleeds of Waco, McLean Stadium. And I said on the video, I said, you don't need a big dance floor to spin a pretty girl around. And Turnpike had commented on that video and said, very true. And
They
reposted
commented?
it. Yeah. And said very true and reposted it and everything. And I just like to believe that whoever does Turnpike social media sent that to Evan. And that Evan recognized me from that video, because I did have short hair back then. I got short hair now.
This is not short.
This is short hair for me.
He needs another hair.
This is short hair for me, because y'all remember when that shit was like shoulder length.
He's not. No, he's not doing it.
Long as fuck. And so I believe fully that Evan Felker sent us that set list.
However, the people behind me were really mad at me. They were so pissed. I don't know if y'all heard him, but the woman was like, you weren't supposed to get that. She was supposed to get that. I'm like, he put it directly in my hand.
He said, he put it in her hand and said, "This is for you." So,
But they were mad.
Oh, it's over.
They
You're about
matched
hair whipping
the
them one
license
point.
plate and the set list, and I'm like, oh, I got the set list because I fuck with Wyatt heavy.
Yeah,
the license plate.
I got a pick from the manager.
yes.
But I'm still incredibly jealous. I'm incredibly jealous because Tracer takes number one on Turnpike's Biggest Fan, but I think that I'm a very close second.
Well, and you know, I wanted that set list for him more than anything.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad that it went to. I'm glad it went to you, but I'm still really jealous of you.
You got the ragweed set list, and I'm very jealous about that. But you know, they give set lists to girls way easier than they do to guys. And I've told him this because I have so many set lists from like big fucking shows. I have one from Zach Bryan, I have one from Lana Del Rey, and I'm like, I'm just lucky. Like that Britney Spears song, Lucky.
So like, do even like the security guards. Like when stuff gets dropped.
That's what you have, and people don't understand this. You have to treat the security guards like they're human beings, and they will provide for you. They don't understand that you need to get close with everyone around you. Number one, every person in your vicinity, become best friends with, and get friends with the security guards. You will be able to get what you want if you do that.
At one point in time, that one beside me was sleeping.
What? Who?
I asked him the security guard. He has sunglasses on, and I was like trying to ask him to get this guitar pick, and I swear he was over there sleeping.
Mike was having a great time, and I talked to him, and I was like, so like, do you enjoy doing these? He's like, I wouldn't do it if I didn't fuck with the bands. He's like, I love ragweed. I was like,
valid.
My soldier. He was a great lead security guard, might I say. And it was one of those concerts where they don't yell at you for vaping in the pit.
Can we also talk about getting to celebrate the price of admission turning 1 year old in the same place that we got to see it the first time and hear it for the first time?
Not you saying we.
Sorry, Kendall.
I lost my job.
R.I.P.
No, the thing was, I lost my job a few weeks before Boys from Oklahoma and Cat Fry, and I was like, I was gonna go to both. And so I was fucked. And I was going through the worst time ever in my life. But then Tracer texted me a few days after, so it got better. But I was so jealous. I wanted to go so bad. And well, I get my like memories on like Facebook, and it's like repost of like the ragweed set, and it's like I should have been here, and I'm like, you were, girl.
Well, we
being billboard driving into Stillwater that weekend last year, and just waiting on midnight for the chance to listen to the full album, and just being able to look back at it exactly 1 year later in the same exact spot where you got to hear it for the first time last year. Incredible album. Some of their best work. And
that was a good one.
Well, I'm going to take a moment.
First, I will say it's crazy to reflect on how much everyone has grown within 1 year's time.
I agree.
That's what I was going to say, take a moment of, is I did a lot of reflecting on seeing Ragweed live again a year later, and the position that I'm in life a year later. I was going through it. A year ago, I was living for that show. And after that show got over, I really didn't know what to do with my life, because it felt like seeing Ragweed was like I'd seen everybody I needed to see. Who was left on the bucket list? Who was left to see? And there was a lot of uncertainty in life at that moment, and I can remember the first time that I sat down and I listened to the Turnpike album by myself, not in a room full of people, not being like around talking, but like just truly sat down and was like, this is the first time that I've listened to this album in its entirety. Yeah, On the Red River came on, Searching for a Light, and I was just kind of going through the motions with the album. And I was like, oh, of course, it's Turnpike, it's great. And then I was sitting there on the tailgate of my truck, and Heaven Passing Through came on. And I had to pause, I had to stop after that and have a come to Jesus meeting with myself of either I'm gonna go get help for what's going on in my life, or I'm gonna literally drink myself to death. And that was a saving grace, I guess, for me. That was the song that really pushed me to go get help and realize that the way that I was living was not a healthy way of living and coping. And so, 2 weeks after, I booked an appointment. I booked an appointment the Friday after Ragweed to go to a doctor.
You texted me, what, 2 days before?
I texted you the Saturday after this. Just to go to a doctor and just see what I could do about my brain. And I remember I've never told this story on the podcast. Me being vulnerable.
It's the beer talking.
Yeah. I walked into this doctor's office and they kept telling me I was diabetic because I was like, I have no energy to do anything other than just like sit there and drink beer. That's the only thing I want to do. I just want to get drunk every night and just forget. I walked to this doctor's office and he said, man, you just need a break. Like, you just need to calm down. He's like, your world is too full. You need to calm down. And they put me on these two medicines. It's an anti-anxiety and an antidepressant. And I remember the first call I had with Brennan after I got on it. And he's like, dude, you're a completely different person. And I was like, imagine being in a screaming stadium and being in the middle of everybody. Everybody's screaming at you to do different things. And then all of a sudden that stadium's gone. That's what it feels like. And a month later, I went back to the doctor, and I did the same tests and everything. They make you go through and you check this thing, and
I know too well.
he comes in. The first thing he says to me is he's like, I've never seen somebody make this type of turnaround. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, the last time you were in here, we were ready to send you to a hospital. But you kept talking about the service calls you had to go on that afternoon. And he didn't say bitching, but he said complaining. But bitching about how you needed to get out of here because you had service calls to get on that afternoon. And he said that's the only reason we let you go is because you said that you had things you had to take care of that afternoon. And he said, you've done a complete 180. And I just want to take this moment to say to people, like, I know there's a lot of shit around mental health and anti-anxiety and stuff like that, and not going to get help because you feel like, well, I mean,
I can figure it out myself.
I can figure it out, or only pussies do that, or whatever.
You can't figure it out.
Getting medicine will help you because when you feel the way that I felt about everything and about life,
it's not sustainable.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And getting help and going and getting on an antidepressant and an anti-anxiety is probably the best thing I ever did.
Yep.
And it led to everything that's happened in the last year of my life. So,
But you know,
I'm very thankful for
instead
that.
of taking a break like they told Tracer, he immediately called or texted me the next day on Twitter, thinking I don't know who he is, texting me off his main account instead of the Western Grunge account. I'm like, I know exactly who this motherfucker is. I'm sorry, but the name Tracer is not that common.
It's cool.
But yeah, that Turnpike set, it was good. It was emotional. It was
It was.
everything you need in a set. A fun, happy, funny, exciting, sad, angry, depressed. It was every emotion all at once. It was like the encapsulation of what it feels like to be bipolar.
You know, as somebody who has experienced a lot of loss in the last year, you know, within my family, hearing On the Red River live,
Yeah.
I look like I'm about to cry in that picture that they posted on Instagram, and I might have been, just because, you know, I tried to be more present at this show. I didn't take a whole lot of pictures or videos. I really just tried to live in the moment, and just sitting there listening to On the Red River. You know, I lost my grandpa back in August, and he was an avid outdoorsman, and um, that song really reminds me of him and growing up with him. You know, my childhood. You know, of course, the Red July Bucks are in Velvet. I'll tell you about them this fall. Really made me sit there and just think back on all of those memories with him, and it was emotional. So just being able to hear that live, and I've seen Evan a couple of times solo since the albums came out. I saw Turnpike last year in Missouri, around August. But then I've seen Evan a couple of times, you know, with Hayes Carl at Kane's Ballroom, and then of course the Hangover Ball, and I've heard On the Red River a couple of times. Just once again, just trying to really live in the moment and just really just take it all in. It just made me think about, you know, just kind of reflect on everything.
You know,
Well,
when you bring that up, and
mm,
you go ahead.
you can.
Heaven Passing Through came on, and he said, "Everybody, get your flashlights ready and put your flashlights up." And I just took a moment. I remember I put my phone down, and I turned around and I looked up and to 48,000 people behind us with
Mm-hmm.
flashlights. And it was one of those truly just awe-setting moments where I was just like reflecting on how did I get here as much as I was enjoying the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That song really, you know, it means a lot to you. And it also, you know, for me as well, it just kind of makes me slow down and, you know, finally living in the here and now. Just kind of remind myself to take a step back and try to live in the moment and to try to just take things in, because um you know, we only get this chance once to go through life, and just take in the memories and um just really take it all in. I just love it so much.
One thing that I will say is I feel like with the influence of social media and everything on everyone, I feel like a lot of experiences have become more of like a performance than rather experiencing what you experience in the moment. And for people that genuinely love music, the feelings and emotions that it can evoke in you is unlike anything else. Because it's looking around and it's like every single person in this 40,000 person crowd is relating and understanding to what I feel. Like I feel less alone because I know that there's other people that can relate to this and feel the same way that I do. And it's being in that moment and realizing like I don't need to perform for anyone. I don't need to do anything because all of these people have been through what I've been through. They know what I feel. I'm not alone. I'm not experiencing something that is only to myself. That's really gotten me through a lot, and I that's why I do credit music with saving my life as well, because I was in the worst spot possible when I got into concert hopping. And I've met so many people and seen so many artists that have put what I've been feeling into words and into melodies in a way that I can't express. And as someone who writes poetry, I can write how I feel and whatever, and people can relate to that. But I think when it becomes songwriting, it's something different because you're hearing it and you're experiencing it and you're feeling the emotions that the instrumental will evoke as well as the vocals, and it's just the whole experience of all of that coming together. And I think Turnpike does such a great job at being so raw and honest to the human experience, and not trying to come across as perfect and clean and the standard, just saying like, this is what it's like to be a human being from a small town.
Absolutely. And I also think that it's also like they have such a way of painting a story in your
Mm-hmm.
mind that it's just, you feel like you're in the song. You feel
Yes.
like you are a part of it, and it's a part of you. So I completely agree with what you're saying. I just they have such a amazing way of painting that mental picture, and you just feel you're right there in the moment.
And people talk about like how people need representation in order to feel seen, and the way in which they write makes me feel seen. And I hadn't thought for a long time that like what I hadn't been realizing when I'd been so depressed is that other people feel the same way. But being able to see that, what, like, I'm not alone. I have representation within these people. They're doing great. I've seen what they've overcome, and you can just like really reflect on that and be like, okay, well, maybe I'm gonna be able to figure this out. Maybe this isn't, the end of everything just because this thing happened. Other people have been here, they've lived through it, and they're telling their tale in order to, you know, kind of alleviate the burden that everyone else feels on themselves within their own music, and saying like what they've experienced is, I think it's really important. And I think that's something that's very closely tied to the music scene, as an art field. I'm sure within other art fields there's the same amount of expression, but with music you're getting it vocalized and verbalized straight to you. You're getting affirmed in what you've experienced, and that your feelings are, rational. So and Turnpike does such a great job at that. And that's why, all of these Red Dirt artists, they're storytellers at heart, and that's what I really love about them.
I do too. That is my favorite type of music, is just being able to feel like you are a part. You can just drop yourself right in the middle of it and
Right? It's like
feel.
watching a movie. It
Yeah,
really is.
yes, yes. It's like you can picture everything in your head. Um, it's just it.
And that's so important, because in what we see today on social media, and everything's so curated and perfected, and then going and seeing something that's so raw and honest and vulnerable, and being like, okay, so like, I'm not fucking crazy, like other people feel the way I do. Yeah. It's beyond helpful to combat what we're experiencing with the rise of social media, and how um able we are to see like such curated images and such curated moments, and you don't really know, like, that person's fucking crying behind that photo. You don't know that. So you just assume everybody else lives a perfect life except you, and then going to see these Red Dirt storytellers who are like, yeah, so this is when I got drunk and fucked up and ruined my relationship. It's like, damn. It's one of
Hey,
the most honest genres in songwriting.
Nubs.
it's just because it's so true, and like they're not trying to fake it or so it's easier to believe and easier to relate with.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Matt Moran because we had a discussion about this on Twitter one night, and it was that when I listen to Turnpike, I'm not listening to an artist sing me a song. I'm listening to my best friend bullshit with me in a garage in the fall air while we share some beers. And that's the beautiful thing about Evan is like I feel like I could sit down with Evan. I know Evan doesn't drink now, but I feel like I could sit down with Evan and just bullshit with him. You know, he could talk about his cattle, he could talk about whatever, and I could just bullshit with him. And he even up there standing in front of a crowd of 40,000 people, he still just feels like a real person to me.
Mhm. I think that like at the end of the day, we see these people, we look up to these people, we kind of idolize them. They're our heroes. Evan Felker is my hero. But at the end of the day, they are people just like me and you, live their day just like we do. They go through the same motions that we do. They have the same life experiences that we do. Um, I mean, at the end of the day, they're just people. Um, so I agree. Just feeling like you can just really relate to what their life experiences have been, and what the way that they've just articulated it through words, that I would never be able to say.
Well, I think now is a good time to move into the
I
main
do have
headliner.
one more thing to say about
Go for it.
Turnpike. So one more song that they played was "Brought Me," and that one is not a song that I typically listen to just on a day-to-day basis, but I think that it is such a special song to hear live, um, for me, because I've listened to Turnpike. I remember, I grew up rodeoing. I remember being, at these junior rodeos at 12 and 13 years old and hearing Long Hot Summer Day playing over the speaker. But I didn't truly get into Turnpike until, they went on their hiatus. And I remember being devastated, thinking that I was never going to hear my favorite band live. I remember being absolutely devastated. Um, and just hearing that song played live, it always makes me just a little bit emotional, because it sends me right back into the time of, thinking that I was never going to get to see my band, and then remembering how it felt to see the website go down, the Instagram clear off, and just feeling that anticipation of what was coming. Um and then just, I remember sitting in my college classes when they announced their tour. I almost missed my college graduation to go to Red Rocks. Didn't end up
Same.
getting tickets because they sold out. But then I tried for, Canes was the next one that they sold, or
My
um tried to buy tickets to both nights at Canes, failed. Um, Ended up seeing them at Billy Bob's at their third show back as a band. And it just brings, just hearing that song live brings me straight back into all of that. And it just makes me relive all of that in my head. Um, and just makes me really thankful for, Turnpike getting back together and playing, the best that they ever have.
I
And
can
especially the line, you know, I looked, at an old ballroom in Tulsa. I looked up and you were there. That part gets me every single time. But go ahead.
I remember looking at my mom and telling my mom I said I'm gonna it's college graduation. I said I'm gonna walk across that stage just so you can say that you see me walk across stage because I did not walk across stage for my JUCO graduation. I missed it to go work so I could get off at 4 o'clock to go rodeo. And I said you're gonna get to see me walk across stage. and then I'm walking out to the parking lot and getting in my truck and driving to Kansas City to get on a flight to fly to Colorado to see Turnpike. And believe me, that did not fly with my mother. But she negotiated with me and she bought me tickets to go see them when they played at Bonner Springs that year. However, I do get that, and that's such a beautiful story that he wrote that after being at Kane's Ballroom where he felt like he was done, and they walked on stage at Kane's to a sold out crowd, and he looked up and we were there. And, even if we weren't there physically, we were there mentally, spiritually, ready to see Turnpike. And I tell a lot of people, and I talk to a lot of people doing service work, and everybody has the story about ragweed. I got into a fight at a ragweed show or whatever, And then everybody has a story about seeing Evan Felker fall off stage drunk. And so a lot of older people always question when I just tell them that Turnpike's my favorite band. But like we've discussed so much about here, it's just I've never felt like somebody got me the way that Turnpike gets me.
Like I said, that's not really a song that I gravitate towards to just, on a day-to-day basis, just listening. But it is one of my favorites to hear live just because it just is it feels nostalgic. It just bringing me back to those moments. I just think it's really, really special to hear live.
The way you guys are about Turnpike, I wasn't involved in the scene then, but I was about Lana Del Rey. And I dropped everything, I had just gotten broken up with, my first, long-term real relationship. I spent all of my money I had got after my high school graduation for college on Lana Del Rey tickets to see her at the Walmart Amp in Rogers, Arkansas, on her first show back since 2020, early 2020, before COVID. And this was in 2023. And it was such a spiritual experience for me. I cried so much, and I think it is what got me into concert hopping and, loving music as an art so much. And, it's always cool to talk to people that are into music and see, what music has done for them, because I just feel really fucking bad for people who don't experience music the way I experience music.
And it's also, I think another really cool thing about it is just the friendships that you make through music. I've made some of the best friends I've ever had in my life through music and going to concerts, and they get me. You guys understand. People ask me all the time. They're like, "Why do you go see the same people over and over again?" Or like, "How do you afford to go to all these concerts?" And they just don't understand that you can go see these shows for $20.
Yeah.
Or they just don't understand the, I guess, camaraderie of it. Like I've made some of the like I said, some of the best friends of my life going to concerts, and I think it's really cool that we can just meet up. We can all be from different states and just meet up in these random places, and just pick up right where we left off.
That's very much how Laurel Cove is. Going to Laurel Cove and be like, you're from Oklahoma, you're from Kansas, you're from Nebraska, you're from Tennessee, you're from Alabama. It's like, it's just a Twitter meetup. It's so crazy. It's like the fact that I know these people and I've never met these people, but we know each other through music. It's nuts.
It's raised for me. We've just kind of, made this huge group, but also just at these other random shows that I've just went to and just made a friend at, and then running into them somewhere else and just being like, oh my gosh, you just didn't expect to see them at this, at some random show. But I run into people everywhere that I go.
Yep,
just random people at concerts, and I love it. It's one of the most rewarding parts about it. It's just the friendships that I've made.
Do you want to?
That's why I like.
Ragweed.
Nope, that's something he needs to say.
That's why I like this music scene, because I can go to a concert by myself and I'll either know someone that's already there or I'll make a new friend while I'm there.
Yep.
Well,
There's always someone you can talk to and hang out with and make
I
friends.
was I was thinking about it earlier, and I said I was going to tweet it later, but I'll talk about it right now. I've seen Wyatt Flores now 5 times, and every single time I have seen Wyatt Flores, Johnny Coltrane has been with me in some form. I know we did not get to see each other during Boys from Oklahoma this time, but Johnny has always been there, um, and feels a part of my community. I always know that if it's going to be a good time if I get to see Johnny. So that being said,
Camping next to him, I can attest to that.
I'm looking forward to Laurel Cove. Me and Johnny are going to drink some ranch waters together.
Hell yeah.
Moving forward,
What kind
though.
of vodka do you want in that?
So, all right, hold up. People got to know the backstory of that shit right there. Grab me one, baby.
Are you sure you need one?
Yep. We were at the Wormy Dog for Fast Molly, and walked up to the bar, and I said, I told the bartender, I said, I need one Washington apple and one ranch water, and she said, okay, what kind of vodka do you want? And I was like, what? And she's like, Tito's, Fedka, what kind of vodka do you want? Tequila. Tequila, please. So, important. Ranch water. It's tequila.
I couldn't even imagine it would. I mean, I guess if it was just vodka, it would just be like a.
It'd be a vodka soda with lime.
Well, that's what people drink Tito's soda water and lime, so it can't be much
That is
difference.
what Nana, a Tito soda with lime is what Nana orders at the bar.
She just orders ranch water.
They're not bad. I've drank them, so.
I was drinking Tito soda with lime at the Kane's Ballroom show.
I don't drink liquor anymore because of what happened in not Boys from Oklahoma, born and raised. I try to avoid it. I'm not that. I'm too old. The hangovers hurt too bad.
Beer makes. See, I'm the opposite because beer always makes me feel more hungover than liquor.
Well, today I was scrolling through Twitter, and there's a lawsuit that just got won. I think it's in Florida or whatever. But there was a lady that had 14 tequila shots
On the cruise?
on the cruise.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Over a 9-hour period.
I've definitely drank more than that.
9 hours. Okay.
That's doable.
And
That ain't nothing.
I thought, I sat there and I thought for a moment. I said, during the Friday night of Boys from Oklahoma, I had 5 ranch waters at the Wormy Dog.
I had
And-
5 Washington apples.
And 1 at the Salty Bronc. So in total, I drank 6 ranch waters.
12 shots.
Well, that would be 12 shots of tequila.
But they were over pouring.
I mean, yeah. And I was upright
Yeah,
for
we
the
were
most
both.
part.
We both I probably had 16 shots
Yeah,
by the
I
end
was-
of the night. And I was still straight.
I was cognitive.
But the thing is, those who don't know Broken Siggies, before I tried to be more conservative, I guess, on Twitter and not post about me drinking all the time, I can fucking drink. I can fucking drink liquor. I can't do beer very well. I mean, I'll get drunk off of 6 beers, but give me a fucking bottle of Fireball, I can down that motherfucker and still be standing up talking to everybody.
I think I had 4 beers and 1 shot that me and Lane and Jesse took at Willie's.
Ice shots.
Yeah, that's all I drank all weekend long because I did not want to feel terrible. I knew that I had a long day, so I had 4 beers total all weekend because I couldn't.
That's very
Plus, it
mature.
wasn't worth fighting at the concert. It was not worth fighting through everybody.
I
Yeah,
went with the other Kendall to pee. Getting back was a bitch, and she was scared. So I'm holding her hand, I'm fucking dragging her through these people, and she's, a beautiful woman. And I'm just dragging this girl through the crowd, and they're all looking at me like... And then they see her, and they're like, okay.
Well,
I'm like, fuck you guys.
I remember I went to go to the bathroom after Wyatt, and I asked Lane, I was like, dude, you want to go pee with me? And he was like, no, I'm not leaving my spot. And I was like, I gotta pee, dude. And Kendall was so worried I was not gonna make it back up there. And I parted that fucking crowd.
He parted the Red Sea like Moses.
Like Moses. I said, they're like, oh, dinosaur short guy, get back up there.
Yeah, I did want to bring up your shirt. I did want to bring up the dinosaur cowboy shirt.
Yep.
How about the guy trying to trade you his shirt for it?
Yeah, the Sasquatch shirt.
That was insane.
Oh, yeah? About that.
He thought that was a good trade, and I was
it
like,
was not a good trade.
Sasquatch t-shirt for button up, like, dinosaur cowboy shirt. And he's like, my wife wants it. And I was like, I don't give a shit if she wants it.
He had a redhead, too. No, he had a redhead, too. He did. Because he goes, this redhead over here says I need to get it.
Been there before.
Tracer said.
I still want to know what the chicken was wearing. I need to know if it was a name tag or if it was. So after thinking about it a little bit, I think that it might have been a access pass, because I saw the picture on their Instagram that like none of the Turnpike Troubadours were wearing passes, so they had like a sign back there saying "Don't stop them." Like these are their passes. I think that the chicken may have had an access pass on because nobody else was wearing passes. But I really want to know what it said.
Will you plug that charger?
I don't know if it was a name tag for the chicken, but I want to know.
I didn't even notice it having anything on it.
I did because Sydney said something to me.
It's a burning question. I have to know.
Just go ahead and tag them for me.
So, feels like now is a great time to hop into the ragweed set. And this sounds bad, but the only thing I want to talk about is the Anywhere But Here psychedelic ass fucking
the jam band sesh that
with
happened.
the Smoking Oaks.
Smoking Oaks, yeah, it was amazing.
Cole's afro was lighting up with the lights behind him. It was like seeing an angel from heaven.
Kendall got the perfect pic. She has this pic of Cole where it's like video. It's like psychedelic behind him. Like it's just like,
and his afro's just lighting up with the lights behind him. I sent it to Brooklyn. She said, "Wait, why did you get the best video of all time?" I was like, "Yeah."
Sydney, you brought up the last episode, so I'm gonna bring something up, and it was when we were at the Wormy Dog, and I was very under the influence of tequila that night, and I told Cole, dude, you're like the next fucking ragweed, man. And I'm sure I said it differently because I was under the influence of tequila. However, I saw them perform Suicide Blues at Grady's. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is Smoking Oaks song now. Ragweed can't touch this. And then I saw Cole up there in front of 40,000 people perform Anywhere But Here. And I'm like, this is a Smoking Oaks song now. I don't know what to tell Ragweed. Like, I can't ever see that song again and be like, this is good. I'm just always going to be like, I miss the psychedelic cover where Cole's hair is just taking up half the fucking screen. And they're just jam banding it. Slade and Grady are just rocking out,
But I was looking at them all, and then I was like, they're all up here but Connor, and the next thing I know, he comes out with his tambourine, him and Gracie.
Yeah. I love watching Cole play because at some point in every set, he's just going to be like hopping around the stage. Yes. He's just jumping everywhere.
He is.
Got a bunny hop it.
He is a jumper.
His afro
I'm a jumper too. I feel we have kindred spirits.
He is a guy that you are going to watch jump, and
I love it.
That's the one thing like I tell people about the Smoking Oaks is that like they've become one of my favorite bands just to watch them, because not only the chemistry they have as a band, but Cole gets to jump in. And Slade gets to like head bobbing, and the whole band is just into every song.
Love them. Yeah. Great guys too. Great guys.
Yeah. I saw them, the Smoking Oaks and Cody Canada and the Departed play a couple weeks ago, here in Northwest Arkansas, and
I am mine, Northwest Arkansas. Sorry.
I don't remember what I said to him, but I mentioned the picture from Born and Raised where the afro was on the ground. And that's my favorite picture. I love it. And he was like, I knew I recognized you from somewhere. He said, I knew you looked familiar. But I love that picture. It cracks me up every time because that was the night that he stayed at the campsite until
Yeah, coming out of Tracer going out of Lane's,
Yeah.
Tracer going out of Lane's camper to Cole performing Astronaut or Outer Space. Sorry, I'm thinking of Wyatt Flores. I was cognizant. I heard it. I was not there.
I tried getting him to stay, and he went right back to bed.
He knows the rules.
I remember.
Outside, and I'm by myself. Like, I'm the only one outside at this point. And I just see the afro, and I'm like, this is evidence of the night that was had.
I just threw it off my head and went to bed.
I just remember I woke up and I was like, dude, I gotta pee bad. And I walked out of the camper, and Cole is sitting there and he's playing Outer Space. And he looks up at me. He goes, hey, Tracer. And then goes right back into playing Outer Space. And I said, hey, Cole. And I walked away to the bathroom just hearing him play Outer Space. And that will forever be one of my favorite moments of life in general. So
I think another thing, going back to Ragweed, I was so excited to hear Wanna Rock and Roll, especially because they did the intro. I screamed.
We were the only people who got fucking down to Wanna Rock and Roll in the front row. I was pissed. Because everybody was looking at me like I'm fucking crazy for going, took her down to the railroad tracks and her red lips touch mine. Wanna Rock and Roll.
So, I want to take a second real quick here.
Damn, there goes my hair.
Shout out Josh Kretschmer. I know you listen to the podcasts. Shout out Cody Canada. I know that occasionally you do listen to the podcast as well. We appreciate you so much. And we appreciate you doing
I would die for you.
We appreciate you doing the Hubbard bit that we've done on the podcast live.
1,000 times.
Yeah, live. So my best friend was at the concert too, but she was sitting in the floor with her mom, and I immediately texted her, and I just was like, Hubbard.
Hubbard.
I was so excited. She said that people were pretty quiet back there at that point, and she was also going crazy. But I immediately, they did the intro, I screamed, grabbed my phone, and texted her immediately, and I was just really excited to hear that.
And here's the issue with people going to concerts just for content. They don't know the bangers. They only know, the mainstream shit. And so I'm sitting there fucking headbanging. I'm like, took her down to the railroad tracks and her red lips touched mine. I said, I want to rock and roll. Now I'm headbanging. And they look at me like I'm a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, I looked over at you headbanging, and your hair was about to whip the chicks in the face behind you. And their facial expressions, what the hell's going on?
It's like, you're not gonna headbang to this song?
That was one of the only videos I got of the night. I got of Ragweed. I got Wanna Rock and Roll. I just got a little snippet of the chorus, and then I also got Alabama. But looking back at Wanna Rock and Roll specifically, it sounded so good.
I only took one video during Ragweed, and it was during Crazy Eddie's last hurrah.
Big Sue.
Who the fuck is Big Sue?
I remember being there and hearing y'all both go, who the fuck is Sue? Who is Sue?
We're still asking this question.
Who the fuck is Big Sue?
I heard you screaming it.
I have reached out to Reckless Kelly to get them on the podcast. I want to get Cody Braun on the podcast so I can ask him specifically who the fuck Big Sue is.
It's not Big Sue.
It's guess who.
However, Tracer thought for many years of his life.
I'm over the podcast that you're going to hear.
Who the fuck?
Howdy, fuckers. Welcome to us here on Shape Deck. Cody, I got one question for you. Who the fuck is Big Sue?
I swear that's what it sounds like. It sounds
And I
like
guess,
Yeah.
and I never questioned it because the ragweed version is the version I grew up with, right? And that's the version you hear, and you know it's a Reckless Kelly song, and I love Reckless Kelly, but if I want to hear that song, I go to the ragweed version of it. And so for years, he called up Big Sue. And I guess Big Sue was his drug dealer? I don't know. Okay? I don't
you know
know.
you know what's really crazy? I didn't grow up on ragweed or any sort of, those bands like that. I did not. My parents, my dad specifically, he's more into more like the metal or like the 80s hair band. So I didn't grow up listening to that music. I remember hearing Boys from Oklahoma. I was probably 17 or 18 years old, and I just fell in love with that sound. And now Ragweed's one of my favorite artists of all time. And I just think it's really crazy that I hear of all these people like, oh yeah, I remember being 5 years old listening to this in my car seat, or however, whatever. But I didn't. I didn't grow up on that kind of music. But it's cool to like hear about the lore now and like kind of learn everything as I go.
Yeah, I'm the same way as you. I did not at all.
Well, that was kind of our weekend after. I don't think any of us, besides Lane, ended up at Gypsy Cafe.
Yeah, Gypsy Cafe was good. I enjoyed the all the background visuals for Ragweed set though.
Yeah,
All
it
the
was.
production side on all of it, like Wyatt set, Turnpikes, and Ragweeds. There was a lot of cool production.
What about the encore?
Um, on a cloud, and then
My hometown. They
my
sang it
hometown.
with
Evan.
Turnpike.
Yeah.
Evan came out sang "My Hometown" by Charlie Robinson.
And of course, Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Nixie baby. Um, it was a great weekend.
It really was.
It, it was great.
And the beautiful thing is that we get to run it back for year 3.
Hell yeah. So, you know
Yep.
what?
It,
We will see y'all fuckers for recap number 3.
Y'all did
yep.
miss out Sunday though on Gypsy Cafe.
Lane,
I'm sure
we'll
that
give
I
you a
I
did.
review.
didn't
Day,
I didn't
but
stay long, but there was a lot of good bands out playing. I just
I
kept bar
know.
hopping.
We were so tired, though.
it started raining, and I was like, I don't know if I want to deal with the rain all day, so I'm going to point this thing east.
I woke up, it was raining. I went back to sleep and woke up at like noon.
Not me. I slept in my car. So the first night, I just had a sleeping bag in my car. Um, it was not bad. The second day, I went and got a mattress topper from Walmart, and it was perfect. Like it was great. Um, so I woke up, was more well rested the second night. But it was raining, and I was like, I don't really think I want to deal with this today. So I'm gonna go home and try to get some stuff done before work tomorrow. Um, but next year I hope to come a day early. I intended to this year. I had just taken off a lot. Like I said, just had a lot going on, so I took off work the week before, and I just didn't want to take off the days leading up to Boys from Oklahoma. But next year, I definitely think that I want to do that just so I can catch some of the other bands that are in town that weekend.
Next year I'm gonna take that Monday off so I can just stay all day at Gypsy Cafe.
Yeah,
Because I wanted to go to the farm after. Because I've been one other time, but there was just a few, but like, 'cause that's where it all started in Stillwater. So all the bands went out there, or all like the Gypsy Cafe people went out there after, and it's a cool place out there.
Well, I think it's about time we wrap this recap episode up. Thank you all for joining us so much.
Yeah, it was a great weekend.
podcast, both of your podcast debuts. We're gonna get you,
Yeah,
be getting
our
you back
great
on,
podcast debut.
getting you both into the mix of things. If you've listened to it to this point, then you deserve to know that there are huge things coming down the pipeline. We're gonna get back up. We're gonna get back after it. I'm not gonna reveal it on this episode, because things still need to be taken care of on our side of things. However, stay tuned because what's coming next is bigger than anything we've ever done. And that's all thanks to Ragweed and Turnpike. We'll just put it in their hands and tell them thank you and send it on their way. But we're going to end this episode the way we always end an episode. Thank y'all so much for listening. Take yourself out this week. Go get yourself some tacos. Love yourself. Love somebody else. Call up an old friend. Tell them you miss them. Take this episode. Play it on your local touch tunes. People will love to hear my voice. That's not true. However, as in the beautiful words of Evan Felker, I've had all I can handle. I hope you're happy now.
Good night.